Certo. Thank you to all of those tuning in on our live stream. We are here for a neighborhood community meeting in which the applicant would like to construct one independent senior living facility located at 0 Tanglewood Drive here in Louisburg. The vicinity of the proposal is next to the Karl Shopping Center, which is the Shannon Village Shopping Center. And the parcel is directly behind the Franklin County Farmers Market. The applicant has came to the meeting today, Mr. Joseph Wickham, Fairfield Homes, and he'd like to go through his presentation of the proposal. We'll let him do that at this time.
Thank you, Terry. I appreciate everybody's time. Fairfield Homes is based out of Ohio. We specialize in marketing and affordable housing projects throughout the eastern region of the U.S. We have over 70 properties with nearly 4,000 units. Our foray into North Carolina is proposed to start here in Louisburg. This will represent our first project within the state. And admittedly, we are very excited about the opportunity to develop here in Louisburg, given the potential growth here and the need that currently exists within the community. First, I would like to share a little bit about who we are as an organization from a mission standpoint. We are always very strategic and thoughtful in how we design communities to ensure that we're actually integrating ourselves into that community and creating an asset for that community over the long term. The location that we were able to gain control over and propose this development, as Terry mentioned, is in the next to the Karl grocery store shopping center. And as well as everyone might be aware, it's next to the county farmers market. So as I go into our plans, you'll see that we're actually trying to incorporate our designs so that people and residents itself could enjoy that market as well as the shopping center and utilize those resources. Anytime that you own properties, it is your obligation to ensure that those properties are operating in a manner that lends them to have a long and useful life, they're in good working condition, and that they remain as an asset to the community. We take that very seriously, and as you can see here with a number of these references of what our residents say at our projects, if it's positive feedback, which we do receive, we always make sure to address that. But then also the negative feedback. We take that very seriously by having a response time of at least 24 hours to negative feedback. And to accommodate that, we also ensure that we have on-site property staff, to include a manager as well as maintenance. In addition, where we can find the resources, we usually bring in a resident service coordinator to help residents find different helpful avenues and organizations to the community to help them thrive within their residential community. As to why we chose Louisburg, there's two reasons. This project is going to be financed through low-income housing tax credits. That is, those tax credits are administered by the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency. We have submitted an application for those credits, for that funding. We're in the process now of running this, whether or not our application will be successful. We should know by March 21st whether that's the case. But one of the reasons we chose this location is that it has all of the amenities that the housing agency desires and requires for residents living in low-income housing tax credit properties. But more importantly, too, it has a demographic growth rate that shows serious demand for properties like Tar Grove Apartments. Tar Grove Apartments is going to serve residents that are 55 years and older, and will also serve 2 or 3 units that are going to provide accessible units that could be for residents who may be below the age of 55. The overall growth rate shows that the fastest growing segment within the county is 68.2% growth rate for residents over 65 years. So we believe that these 46 units are going to be heavily sought after, and that they'll stand out in the marketplace and be a very successful project. I'm going to give you a couple examples here of projects we've done recently, completed recently in Ohio, and some of the projects that we have planned in Ohio. I'm doing this, obviously we'll do the project here in Louisburg, Target Apartments shortly. But these are good examples of what our finished products look like and what the interiors of our products look like for residents who choose to live in our facilities. We typically always have 1 or 2 bedroom units within our Senior Plus properties. More importantly, we have community space to include a large gallery, puzzle room, fitness room, storage units, individual storage units. And we also work to incorporate amenities outside of the facility to include gazebos, walking paths, space garden beds where we can. And I'll get into that more with Target Apartments. More importantly, within the house unit itself, we typically have slow close silver certification, Energy Star compliance. And we also always put luxury vinyl plank into our units. Another example of more of a walk-up design and a townhome design. It's not what we're proposing here at Louisburg, but it gives you another idea of kind of care and design put into our projects. This is a senior facility in Lancaster, Ohio. Has 95 units, but you can see an example of a library space, sitting space for residents, and then expansive patio space that we always try to incorporate in our projects. This is an example of an urban infill development. Demolition plus new construction. This one serves families in downtown Columbus, Ohio. I'd like to highlight here the countertops as well as the appliances. Those are very common for what we're doing here at Target Apartments. So Target Apartments, as Terry mentioned, it's located just south in Shenandoah Shopping Center. It's currently sits behind the farmers market and is an open grass field space. What we're proposing is to set the building back a little bit, almost a little bit further back than the grocery store and shopping center itself, and then have parking also in front. We are accommodating an easement, obviously with grass space along the river, while incorporating sufficient parking for the residents with over is a 1.1 parking space to unit ratio. Our design is kind of an architectural Georgian look with brick up to the second story in front of the building, and then horizontal lap side already flanked on the upper floors. So this is an example of our site plan and how it's going to fit within the shopping centers area and the community itself. The red is what our parcel shape is going to look like once we work through all the zoning process and get this project moving with the county from a parcel to house standpoint. You can see there that we're going to leave the farmers market for the owner of the shopping center, and we're also providing access to the back of that shopping center. We have a direct access point on the Bigot Boulevard there, but we recognize that right now it's only the right turn only. One of the things that we have to address still, that we will address as we move forward with our financing application process, is the ingress and egress, and ensuring that appropriate traffic accommodations are met. The owner of the shopping center, who has agreed to sell this parcel to us, is aware of our need to utilize the drives into the shopping center for our ingress and egress, and is willing to work with us to do that after we get financing in place and work with our transportation. One of the things I'll call out here is you'll notice the walking path and gardens beds around the building. We also are showing the gazebo, as well as some raised beds next to that gazebo. We also decided that we wanted to incorporate more of a feature for residents to utilize with our retention pond. It's a little bit hard to see in the forest there, but we have a path going down to it so that residents could also enjoy sitting by the pond and enjoying the nature feel back there with all these trees. This is an example of our elevation. The top one, number one, is the front. It's going to be the one facing Bigot Boulevard, with the number two at the bottom there being the back side of the building. Really the difference there is obviously the amount of brick that's going on the back. Considering it's not front facing, we're going to obviously utilize our funds elsewhere for the purpose of the rear. And what you'll see there in the middle is our community room, along with a large patio space. As I mentioned, we always incorporate those in our projects, and that's where our residents will be able to utilize a well-designed patio space while looking out over the tree grove to the rear of the building. The two other elevations represent the side of the building. Lastly, example here is really the unit layouts themselves. One of the things that we always have to accommodate and ensure that we accommodate is the accessibility aspect, but we also try to make sure we're utilizing the square footage to the maximum extent possible. You'll notice that our designs really limit the amount of hallway space. They allow for both a sitting area, sitting dining area, as well as a potential bar area with an island. But they also ensure that we accommodate sufficient cabinet space, as well as all of our appliances are available for the residents. We have dishwashers, as well as all your other standard appliances itself. The only other thing I would call out is our plans currently allow for washer and dryer hookups, but we're going to have but there's community-wide laundry spaces on each floor for the residents as well. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Wickham. And at this time, the community meeting is now closed. If anyone has any questions, they can direct them to the planning department by dialing 919-497-1003 and or emailing myself, Terry Satterwhite, at tsatterwhite, SATTERWHITE @townoflewisburg.org. Thank you.